Previously on the Writers Room Game Show.
To me, Gen Z, it's like cast like Olivia Rodrigo or like Timothy Chalamet in this movie.
That's all you gotta do. You just put Chalamet in, and they're there.
They're there.
And one of the villains, whatever, could be Harry Styles.
The brother activated it in the toaster, and then he threw it out because it was like, this wasn't a waffle.
This isn't a waffle. Yeah, it starts smoking, and he's like, throws it into the trash, and it's trash day, and he's like, oh no. He runs the trash, plops it in the trash can, the trash takes it. Right as the trash man is pulling away is when the Secret Service pulls up. This is not right, Seth. This is...
Gotta run. Talk soon. Bye.
Where is this coming from?
You're so golden.
What if the villain is the president?
Oh, man!
Like President Tracy Morgan. So excited. Yes!
Sorry.
That's what he sounds like.
Can Polly? I almost want Polly to play the Chalamet character.
Yes! It's so good.
Ryan Polly as Timothy Chalamet as this character. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Seth.
And welcome back to the Writers Room Game Show. It's the podcast where every week we generate an original feature film idea from scratch in under 60 minutes, working from a set of random prompts given to us by a big Hollywood studio. Now, Seth, this is the first episode in season 3 where we actually have a guest writer.
Our guest writer today is an anime... I'm sitting here waiting to say the intro and realize that we have to actually talk a bit and riff before giving the intro. Yes, we have a guest today. I'm very excited because not only is he a good friend of ours, not only is he insanely talented, he's also a huge fan of the podcast and sends us notes regularly for almost every episode.
That's great.
And we love him. In fact, oh, damn it. I got rid of my soundboard. I used to have the applause. I was going to do an applause every time we said this man's name. I don't have it anymore. That's okay. Actually, no. Rene, add the applause.
Rene can do it.
Here we go. When you hear his name, we applaud. We give applause on this show. Our guest writer today is an animator, a motion designer, and the creative director at School of Motion. He has designed an entire hotel for Warner Brothers. He's mentored talented motion design artists across the country, created title sequences for some of our favorite TV shows and movies, and currently also hosts the School of Motion podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, all of you, please welcome Ryan Summers to the show.
Hey, thank you. That makes me tired just hearing you say all those different things. It's been a long career, hasn't it?
Oh, buddy, do you ever have to explain it to other people?
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, I just say, Pixar, like that, but no one notices the work.
Oh, people, that's excellent. People get very tired when I explain to them what I do because on all the things that I do and all the shows that I host, and then they stop talking to me.
They're like, so what are you working on now? It's like, oh, do you have an hour to sit there and wait?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best thing when someone says, so you're a director, have I seen your work? Like, oh, let me think about a way to answer that.
Well, according to my
it's
Instagram
like the grandma
stats,
at
no.
Thanksgiving. They're like, oh, have we seen anything that you worked on? It's like, no, absolutely
and you never,
not.
Ever will.
I just say, yeah. Have you seen Mission Impossible? I directed it. I made all of it.
Well, Ryan, I would love to, before we get into our stuff, I would love to, we actually have a listener question that I think would apply greatly to you. So I'm going to play our bumper.
It's time for a listener question. It's time for a listener question. Yeah!
Oh my God, I'm pumping my fist. I literally can't help it.
And our listener question is actually, what is your favorite title sequence? So I pull this out because, Ryan, you've actually animated, designed some great title sequences. I think we might have talked way back in the day. Did you work on, I'm only bringing it up because it's one of my favorite movies. Did you work on Pacific Rim?
Oh my God, yes. The amount of times I'll say Pacific Rim during this whole thing, just start drinking every time you say it. But yes, I did the...
Guillermo driving simultaneous parallel to you on the road?
Yes.
That was you?
Oh my God, dude. One of the weirdest moments of my life is so we got this job and we weren't even supposed to pitch it, but we kind of secretly went against our owner's wishes to go meet with Guillermo, partially because next to Writers Room Game Show, I may be the biggest fan of Guillermo del Toro.
We're next to Guillermo del Toro, Ryan.
Yeah, like my number. Yes,
we have a not a bullshit meter. We can at least okay.
It's not a bullshit. I mean, for the amount of times I text you guys on Instagram after I listen to every episode, I think it's probably true that Writers Room Game Show number 1, Guillermo del Toro number 2, my son number 3.
Whoa.
right?
That actually lines up.
Honored.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But yeah, no. So that was one of those weird things. So we win this thing, and we only have 6 weeks to make it right before the movie comes out. So we're working crazy hours, like you do, just because you love something, you want to make it awesome. And I think like with 2 weeks left, we are wiped out. But Guillermo, man, that dude works more than anyone I've ever met, and never looks like it. Because I think he was doing. There's an animated movie from, I can't remember, I think it was called Book of Life. He was he was like producing and directing, like not really directing, but producing that and giving notes on it. First thing in the morning in Santa Monica. Then he'd drive to DreamWorks to help on like Puss in Boots and Rise of the Guardians, and he was executive producing a bunch of movies there. And then he would start his day working on Pacific Rim. And almost every time, like he would come in and he'd be full of energy. But one time I was wiped out driving, and I was going to the lot, and we're just like in bumper to bumper traffic like you do in LA. And I just looked to my right, and Guillermo is literally just sitting there like nodding his head, listening to who knows what kind of music, and he just looks over me and he recognizes me and just smiles, and he literally waves like a little schoolgirl. Like he was so excited. He's just like ha, 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 like laughing. And I was like, it was like the biggest adrenaline shot. I'm like, oh, I have all the energy I need for the rest of the day today. Let's go
for the rest of your life.
I wish you filmed it. I wish you could just make it a GIF and we could see it every day.
It lives rent free in my head, that's for sure.
I love that so much. Well, I know, Seth, do you have a favorite? I'm sure there's hundreds that you could think of.
There are hundreds. I think that
I've got mine like ready to go at all times, which is the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World opening titles.
Amazing.
Oh, those are fantastic, 100%. And like starting with the opening, the shot at the hallway shot,
the endless living room.
Oh, that is the title sequence, of course. Yes, it's so good. And that song, you know what, man? You might have just you took it, so I can't take that one. But the song itself is part of like what it's like. I came to this movie expecting Edgar Wright. I did not expect to get like garage rock Beck. Like I did not expect to get like that so finely honed and tuned to my interests musically, that opening song. It's just perfect. I do have I want to say either these are both funny because they're both similar. The X-Files or Better Call Saul, because they're both really shitty. Like, and they both are absolutely perfect for their show. Like the X-Files is so weird and seedy and feels like you're catching it in the middle of the night and you're not supposed to be seeing it. And then Better Call Saul is just the most, I've done talks about how I learned how to make Red Giant Universe plugins by like trying to recreate the opening titles, and that's how
your Better Call Saul title tutorial is really great, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Because you just capitalize on how like trashy this looks, and it's so good.
I'm using this dumb footage I shot on my iPhone of a bunch of Jurassic Park trading cards all over my desk, aka my desk. It was the most fun like research I've done in a long time. Like I love recreating, like especially title sequences and stuff. I love trying to imitate. I was just doing it today with this dumb thing we did for VFX and Chill, where I altered the Paramount logo to say VFX and Chill. And I just love opening up and reverse engineering the stuff that people like Ryan do and trying to figure out how to recreate it. Yeah.
What about you, Ryan? Do you have any immediate favorites that come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I there's too many probably, right? And I think like I always go to Seven's title sequence just because like it's kind of a lame duck one to say, but I think maybe now not as many people are familiar with it, but it was kind of the thing that kickstarted title sequences back into kind of being in vogue again, kind of being back into fashion, and Kyle Cooper and everything Imaginary Forces kind of did after that, kind of kept it going. But that one, I like when I first started working at IF, I got sat down when I first got my first like seat when I was staff, and I looked up and like the handmade kind of like one of the pitch documents like was sitting there in this like beautiful frame, and I was like, I'm this is my seat. I'm going to absorb everything from this piece of art. So that has a special place in my head. But I would say honestly, I don't think animated TV show title sequences get much credit, but I really don't think for what a title sequence is supposed to do, right? Like personally, I think a lot of title sequences are actually pretty bad because they're egocentric. They don't actually serve the show, especially in TV show titles. There's lots of beautiful looking things, but you don't want to watch them after one time. And a lot of times they're more like a vanity project for the person making them than actually something that it's made for a viewer. Yeah. But I go to Batman the Animated Series opening title. So good. Just like,
so good. It's like a short film.
Yeah. Setting the world, setting the tone, showing that this is, not, the old Batman. It's not the Michael Keaton Batman. This is something completely different, like a neo-noir. And then it ends with that Bruce Timm silhouette of Batman against the lightning where it gets backlit and you see him for a second, then it goes back to the silhouette. Man, I don't think you can beat that in terms of title sequence for what I think a title sequence is supposed to do.
Love it so much.
Oh, wow.
And just like that, the studio is actually giving us a call. I'm going to go ahead and put him on speakerphone. Hey, studio, I'm going to put you on speaker.
Oh,
Hey guys, it's the big Hollywood studio.
Hey, studio, how's it going?
We're sending over this week's assignment in an email. Let me know if you don't see it.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Seth, I think I'm assuming you're sending it to Seth.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Wow. I've talked to a lot of Hollywood studio people. That's the most macho Hollywood studio person I've ever heard in my life.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
Yeah, he questions. I mean, that's even better macho-ness is that he questions how macho he actually is.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Seth, did you get an email from the studio?
I did get an email from the studio. And
Was it written in all caps?
It was not in all.
Not at all.
Nope. Yep, you're right. Not at all. It was not in all caps.
I apologize. Ooh, I am
It is-
sorry. That was an assumption on my part I should not have made.
I don't know how to respond to that.
So, I'm looking at the email right now.
This week, we're looking for a pitch in this genre,
Body horror.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like it.
and we'd like it to have this tone.
Nonstop.
Non-stop body horror.
We want to appeal to this target audience,
Fans of pixel art.
Ooh.
Okay, interesting.
and this
NFT fans?
is our only mandate.
It's just one word. It says Chalamet.
I mean, that's all you need.
Chalamet.
Terrific.
Oh, awesome. Terrific. Thank you so much, studio. I think that's all we need from you, sir. We'll get started.
We're excited to hear your vision for this, even though hearing vision is scientifically impossible.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Copyright.
go ahead and
Talk
hang up
soon.
now.
We're so excited to hear what you come up with.
Okay.
Talk soon. Hugs
Okay.
and kisses.
Okay. Bye. Bye,
Okay,
studio.
thanks.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You guys have a really close relationship with him, don't you?
Not really.
Apparently.
It's just over the line. Wildly
Seth, and
inappropriate.
The last thing we need is actually some ideas for our Ryan and Seth ideal pile.
Correct.
Now that's Ryan's and Seth.
So Ryans and Seth to this week, guys. We're coming to the table with these 5 ideas that we would like to try and integrate into the story if we can. If not, it's no big deal.
By the way, side note: we've had 5 guests on the show, and 3 of them are named Ryan. So
Let's make it it's awesome.
Do you think the people have noticed yet? So our 5 ideas that we're coming to the table with are the Declaration of Independence.
No idea what you said.
It means if there's something wrong, those who have the ability to take action have the responsibility to take action.
An ancient stone that glows somehow. A submarine.
I like it. I like it.
A cave everyone calls the Murder Cave.
and then final one.
A move to a new city.
Okay. And on that note,
Hit the soundboard.
The Writers Room Game Show has begun.
Finally, we did it. It's a shirt
and
now.
because of when our focus group is coming, we actually only have 40 minutes. So as if we needed more stakes.
20 of the minutes
Yes,
were taken from me looking up the ideas.
Quite a few. So nonstop body horror for fans of pixel art, and it must have
Pixel
Chalamet.
Heart?
Pixel art? Pixel art.
Pixel art for fans of pixel hearts.
I mean, Pixel Hearts is not a bad idea for a kickoff for a title if we're talking body horror.
Pixel Hearts and
So should
Pixel Heart
we
is the
kind of
bad
think
guy.
about like what kind of, because we have body horror and pixel art. I guess it could go together, but I'm thinking of that demographic. Like, what does that say about those people, fans of pixel art? Because it's not saying we have
that
to.
they're stuck in the 2000s. No.
I mean, pixel art has a different connotation now too, just because of NFTs. Like pixel art has become almost like this kind of like cachet of cool, right? Like you're talking about like PFPs, like proof for pictures and all this stuff where it's like,
Did somebody
the art that we used to
say
think was
cachet
a
of cool?
Joke. Oh, cachet of cool, hatchet of cool. I'm trying to think of names already. I already thinking like Chalamet, shall I might for our title, just because of Timothy Chalamet. Immediately, like I'm like Chalamet, no, shall I might. There's something there. But I immediately go to like pixel art being like the MacGuffin or something like that, like or the trigger for all of this in the sense.
Oh, that's
that, like,
interesting.
Well-
like people are like, oh, we got a bid on this pixel art. It's a 1 of 1. Oh, it's going for 4,000.
We have sort of a digital body horror kind of thing where it's
Gosh, yeah.
I was about to get at if your body were to pixelate and turn into pixel art, there's a
Holy
body
shit.
horror version of that. Like there's a version of that is horrifying.
Oh man, but here though, with the whole like pixel art NFT thing, it could be like a reverse Ring, maybe, where it's like all these people are bidding on this auction for this art, but the guy who gets it, it actually slowly turns him, like the Fly, Cronenberg style, into the pixel.
art.
I'm in.
He turns into the pixel and he's captured inside the actual PFP.
Because
he's on the blockchain. He's stuck on the blockchain.
This is great because we can
really
throw
anything
shit in
about
NFTs
but
while
this is
also
so great.
celebrating them simultaneously. And
so we get both the anti and pro NFT people to watch this.
We get
I think that's a
everyone
win.
in this
Yes,
conversation
because-
because
there's the haters, the people who absolutely hate it, and there's people who
Polly.
have bought in 1,000% and
Ryan.
want to get in. Yes.
So Ryan and Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan.
and Seth in the middle.
And then the people
is
who
the
see the
tweener.
potential,
Can you be the
but
tweener?
also see everyone's complaints, the me.
I mean, I see this is where you write Jeff Goldblum as Seth Worley, and he's the tweener. Where he's like, I don't know, do I know? And he doesn't know. He doesn't know which way to go.
Seth
And
is
Chalamet
glowing
can
right
play
now.
him. Chalamet can play himself. That's why it's Chalamet, Chalamite, because he's a superstar who's trying to decide if he should buy and get in on the NFT thing, or should he stay away from it because it's going to hurt his popularity.
What a fantastic
This is
stand-in
within-
for Goldblum's Brundlefly. I think that Chalamet is rather good, rather accurate.
No, I feel like that's pretty close to him back at the Fly era.
Yeah.
I want to just remark we're 3.5 minutes into this.
And we're ready to pitch.
I mean, guys, I've been prepping for this. I've been doing my 80s montage workout. I've been having, I got plot device circles all over my room. I've got strings going back and forth. I didn't know what these were, but
yes, you're a Batman style. You've spray painted the ground below you for some reason, even though
By
you
the
have a
way,
huge
everybody,
bat
be
cave.
sure to catch the Batman and see and celebrate Ryan Pauly's fantastic turn and performance without a mustache as the Riddler.
that's spoilers.
I'm
Is
like,
that too
don't
much
know how to
spoilers?
take it. Should I take it as a compliment or an insult? I think it's a
Compliment.
little bit of both.
You've got your own HBO Max streaming series ready to go right now. I don't know if you got the contracts yet.
Oh man. Okay, so yes, I love this idea. I love everything about it. Now, I'm trying to think where to start in terms of developing this. Should we just start from the beginning? Like, who is this character?
Well, can we just describe body horror maybe to nail down which version? Because we're talking about a pretty wide spectrum of
you
type of
referenced
horror
The
film,
Fly,
right?
which I think is a really good reference because I feel...
Yeah, I think that's the probably most, when people say body horror, that's probably the first
Well,
thing that
anything
comes to mind.
But we're
Cronenberg.
also talking, have you seen Titan yet? Like, we're talking,
Not yet.
there's also a world where, like, you've got like Gonzo, Scott Pilgrim, Edgar Wright pushed to the nth degree with something like that too, right? Like modern body horror is like beyond.
For our listeners, let me just describe like a Wikipedia entry. So body horror is a subgenre of horror that intentionally showcases grotesque or psychologically disturbing violations of the human body. These violations may manifest through aberrant sex, mutations, mutilation, zombification, gratuitous violence, disease, or unnatural movements of the body. Body horror was a description originally applied to emerging subgenre of North American horror films, but has roots in early Gothic literature and has expanded to include other media. And
I think what works so great... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Polly.
no, I was just going to say, like, David Cronenberg is the, principal originator of it in American films, like The Fly.
Or at least in
but-
popular vernacular of words. I think
Vernacular
of
has to be the
words.
name of a movie.
that's my nickname in high school. The cachet of cool in the vernacular of words, Mr. Seth Worley. The reason I reference The Fly, like I see that as like that's the epitome of like what I kind of would want to do is because I feel like the best body horror is from, and this is purely subjective here, but it's like it's happening to the main character's body. Like it is the fact that like you can't, it's this, The Fly is so good because it is this slow burn of this guy's body just completely falling apart and turning into something else. And it's horrifying because you can't escape your own body. Like
And what we need to do is a non-stop slow burn.
non-stop.
It's a sumptuous decay, right? Like it's somebody who you want to watch this person just fall apart, but then you get grossed out, and then you start to feel bad for them. Then you don't want to be anywhere near them. The same way the audience, and the same way the lead character is worried about.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the pixel thing is because it's like it's kind of disgusting, but at the same time, it's like there's something that's if it's like a really rudimentary sort of like almost like 'cause I kind of wouldn't want to do like a like flesh, like cubes of like flesh.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want
yeah.
it to be this weird, gross kind of like. There's something to me about the digital digital aspect of him becoming sort of like the digital thing as opposed to like just becoming like pixel cubes of flesh.
Yeah. Then it turns into that Adam Sandler movie, right? Where it's just like, I got an angle on this. Can I pitch like a slight swing that can still go body horror? Do you know the Oscar Wilde, the picture of Dorian Gray?
Yes.
Where there's like this person and they have the painting and then they maintain their youth while the painting starts to get older and looks more vicious and starts to wither while they still maintain. Is there a world where you can play that, but with NFTs and, maybe it stars Jeff Goldblum and Chalamet and it's like Goldblum is in the picture and Chalamet is like the young version of it. They're playing almost each other, but I feel like there's something with that like Dorian Gray meets body horror Cronenberg, but amped up.
Did you just pitch a modernized version of the picture of Dorian Gray with Jeff Goldblum as the portrait and Timothy Chalamet as...
Yeah, I think I just did.
Oh my God.
It's really good.
I think so. I think so.
Son of a bitch did it.
And instead of Lord and Miller producing it, it's Worley and Polly.
The new Lord and Miller.
The new
the next Lord and Miller.
The backup Lord and Miller.
Yeah, that's more like it actually.
That's even a great movie, The Backups.
The
where
Lord
you guys
and
just
Miller
actually like
understudies.
Lord and Miller are reinvigorating like some completely oddball like 70s or 80s TV show like Knight Rider, and then all of a sudden they disappear and you guys have to walk in on set pretending to be Lord and Miller because nobody knows who they are. No one's ever actually seen them. They're just working so much. They're just like scripts.
No one's ever. I love creating that mythology. Okay, I like this. So the idea is that did you twist it to where, hang on, so
I've never read the picture of Dorian Gray, so I'm not going to know the story quite as well. But
Ryan's not as cool as us, Ryan.
No, it's true.
I've never read it either. I'm aware of it and familiar with it.
Have you seen his mustache? He's cooler than both of us combined.
But why don't you go ahead and tell us?
Can I? I'll just read this history of Dorian Gray. I pulled up because I was like, I think I remember, but I don't.
And how does the murder cave?
This is from your private archives, right?
Well, maybe, yeah. Okay, yeah. I've been trying to make Dorian Gray into something for 3 decades, so this is the way in. I'll just read the entry. Dorian Gray is an orphan boy who is the heir to a great fortune. Basil Hallward paints his portrait, and Dorian declares that he would give his soul if he were always to be young, and that painting instead would grow old. Dorian leaves his fiancée, an actress, because through a single bad performance, he claims that she has killed his love. She kills herself with poison, and Dorian is unaffected. Begins the tale of the boy's descent into low society while still giving dinners and musicals for high society. He's inspired by 2 things: the book Lord Henry Wotton sends him that seems to predict his own life by dissecting every virtue and every sin from the past, and secondly, the picture of himself, which grows steadily older and more vicious looking compared to his own mirror image, which remains young. Fanatical about the portrait, he is driven to murder and deception. As others are drawn into this web of evil, Dorian himself longs to return to innocence, but his method is horrific and tragic. Created by Oscar Wilde.
The picture is a symbol for his soul, obviously.
Yeah, as his soul corrupts, you see it in
so
the
we
picture.
do like the NFT version of that.
But
I mean, there's a lot of analogs there. Like there's a lot of people are just saying like the NFTs themselves are just corrupting all the artists who are just trying to like go for the cheap, fast buck. And it's also being used as like profile pictures for millions of people, around social media. Like they want to elevate themselves by getting this tiny little pixel art that says they're cool.
I'm trying to think of what's like there's a lot of obvious versions of this. I'm trying, like, if you were to try and mint yourself, what you couldn't do that, right?
Well, I mean, there's more and more technology where you could actually probably, it's tough to invoke his name without creating controversy, but like Beeple has created full 3D,
we love Beeple.
full 3D.
You don't know who Beeple
is? Beeple's the dude who sold like on an auction like a $69 million collection of all of his one-a-day drawings.
And side note, he's at least when I've met him a couple of times, he's a very sweet human being.
Yes, if you heard Beeple and heard all the stories and controversy around him and never saw a picture of him, you could walk past him in a building and never know that that's who it was.
Dude looks like Bill Gates. Just like every time I've seen him, he's wearing khakis and like a button-up collared shirt, and he looks. Yeah, he's been making these renders a day, like one render a day for like years,
14 years,
and literally just making a different like Cinema 4D art thing every day, and slowly over the course of time built up an audience and everything. And then when the advent of NFTs or whatever, he like minted all of them and sold them all in a weekend, and like it was that was the thing that became
multi-millionaire.
Huge. Yeah, and then he was on Time, wasn't he? Yeah, cover of Time, which not easy to do unless you're...
That's crazy.
No, yeah. I mean, especially for like a modern digital artist, it's kind of like against the whole thing. The other thing he did though recently that I thought might be interesting is he did this whole thing where he created essentially like a hologram inside of a box, and you can walk around the box and you can actually see it in 3D. And it's just like a character walking through grass. But immediately I was like, oh man, like I'm surprised somebody hasn't actually digitized themselves and put themselves in a box where like as the ultimate like set like.
Well, I'm glad I brought you here today, Ryan, because...
Oh my God.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's there. But like the ultimate ultimate selling of your own ego, right? Like, oh, for $70 million, you can have a box with me in it, like, and that's sold as an NFT, or sometimes like a profile picture or something where someone's actually auctioning themselves off, like a digital representation of it.
Interesting.
So, but the thing is, we want that slow burn. So how do we do...
But also nonstop.
I mean, what if you did something where like there was an artist...
Thank you, Paulie, for constantly reminding us.
What if there was an artist who actually like did that, right? This artist on the top of the world, and then they mint themselves as like this like hyper stylized, perfect version of themselves, captured in the height of their life. And then the moment they do that, they mint it and they sell it, and they have all the money in the world, their life goes bad, like falling down style. And they have an accident, they get burned, like something happens to where they're almost like horribly disfigured, but then there is that still like digital representation of them that's still like getting younger or smarter or stronger as they're degressing.
So a couple things. I like that. What I don't like is a protagonist who is like the Mark Rylance character in Ready Player One and also in that Adam McKay movie that I wasn't crazy about.
Look up.
Yes, don't watch me.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Watch, it's going to win the Academy Award now.
I know. Sure. Great. So, and I have nothing against Adam McKay. I love many other things he's done. Or Mark Rylance, but the idea of like having a main character be someone who is, it's hard to write. It's just
I'm just kind of missing the body horror in that in terms of our protagonist.
Here's where I'm going. I'm going that direction. I loved someone originally said The Ring, the idea of doing that kind of a deal. And I think that if we can have what you just pitched, Ryan, is like a backstory behind this NFT, perhaps this NFT, whoever owns it, it like slowly, steadily becomes that person who owns it. And maybe the person then slowly becomes whoever the last person was, almost like it moves. Maybe it was something before it was minted. It was something physical or something that was then minted in digital, and so now it's this thing that gets passed around and slowly
here's how we get
trades
the
with you.
nonstop tone too, is if there's this sort of like It Follows too had this kind of thing where even though it was a really slow horror movie monster, it was like always moving and always comes, so you felt this nonstop tension even though it was a slow
I like that nonstop doesn't mean fast. Nonstop means potentially like it's a glacier, but it's never not moving. It's never right. It's always right behind you.
So but from the second he buys that, what do you call when you buy an NFT? What do you
buying?
Well, it gets minted and then it's an auction, you bid on it and you win it.
Yeah, so
the thing
they
is
win it, and that's when it starts, and it never stops until he either becomes that.
Well, and it could be like a slow. I'm not sure what the first thing would be or the second, like what order of progression, but it's like and this may be too cheesy, but like what I had in my head was like literally one day his eye is not his eye anymore. It's the previous guy's eye, and the eye in the NFT is now his eye. Like,
dude, there could be something where it's like, so there's this famous NFT, this hologram in a box. There's only ever been one of it. It has some secret algorithm that's always constantly changing and mutating based on whoever owns it. Like you feed your personal data into it, but the person who made it died, and you don't know why they died. You don't know how. There's an accident. That's how it became famous, because it had to be auctioned off or something like that. And then the newest owner of it mysteriously dies within a certain amount of time of having it, and you don't know why. And then somebody else comes to actually buy it, and then you get to witness. There's already some kind of mystery around this. Like, why have two people died around this thing? But that idea of like when you auction off an NFT, there's still like residuals that the original artist could receive. Like you can say, every time someone buys it, I get 20%, right? So there's some idea that every time this thing gets passed on, it's also taking 20% of the previous owner each time. There's some like, there's something in there.
That's nice. And also you have a mystery, a thread to follow then too, and trying to like go back, because that's
See, then it turns it into almost like Seven, where it's like you're trying to figure out what's the box, and it's literally a hologram.
It's a race against sort of the clock. Like I have to figure out what's causing this before it like turns me until it completes the process.
Takes 20% of the person. And so it's not even, is it trading or is it just taking like and creating this like collage of person? Like is it switching? Or is it?
I mean, there's something interesting about it. If we're saying that there's a chain of custody, right? Like provenance, like you're like, this person has this and they sold it to get money, but it also took something of itself of that person with it. What if like somebody in the chain of ownership actually was like a killer or someone bad or someone evil, or someone's like, they're trying to live forever or something by putting themselves into the NFT or into the blockchain, so that the next person that gets it, and then when they buy it, then that like in the swap, the killer's coming back out.
Oh, it's like that Alba movie, The Eye, where she gets the the eye transplant. That's naturally the movie everyone thinks of. But
it's the classic Jessica Alba film.
Or Idle Hands, where he gets new hands and they're the devil's hands or something. I don't remember the story. So the idea is that like this, okay, there's like, this is interesting. This also is a lot like The Carrier in ways that you don't know.
The classic Seth Worley
Classic
series.
unsold Seth Worley joint when Zach Dixon joint.
In pre-production. Let's not say unsold.
A lot of things in pre.
It's part of a story. Maybe it's the beginning. Maybe it's the middle. Or maybe it's the end.
So, okay, I like this.
Uh-oh.
We are getting another call from the studio, so I'm going to go ahead and put that. I'm assuming it's our wildcard mandate. I'll put them on speakerphone.
Welcome to Movie Phone, home of the movie phone. Can I take your order?
What? That's
that was
okay. That's
You
great.
okay,
Great
studio?
joke. Great joke.
Hey guys, there have been some developments in...
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
was there more to that, Mr. Studio? No.
Some developments. Can you give us a mandate, maybe?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. We're waiting, sir.
Hey guys, there have been some development.
You told us that. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you.
Today's wildcard mandate is...
The studio wants more diner scenes. Please start and end your movie in a diner.
Okay. We can make this work. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Sure.
Talk to you later. Gotta run. Talk soon.
Okay. Thank
Okay,
you,
cool.
studio. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
We're so excited to hear what you come up with.
Yes,
Talk soon.
thank you.
Hugs and
Thank you.
kisses.
Again, seriously.
again with
Again,
the
more
kisses.
hugs and kisses. X's and O's, man.
Golly.
Shut your damn mouth, Ryan.
Okay, get out of here.
Whoa,
Go.
which one?
Go.
Which one? Both?
Damn.
Absolutely.
I hardly.
And I've already hung up, but somehow the voice is still coming.
Sure, whatever you say.
Okay. Are you calling me a liar?
Terrific. Absolutely.
Okay. We're going to get back to it. Studio.
Okay. Well, can we kill two birds with one stone in this, and that the diner is
Talk
actually
soon.
called the murder cave?
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Thank you, studio. My God. So you mentioned maybe the diner being called.
Maybe it's a submarine sandwich shop diner called the murder cave.
Submarine sandwich shop.
Here's okay. Twist on that. It makes
But
it,
here's the
it
thing,
violates
too.
our mandate, but like that's like one of those things where like that you have a clue called the murder cave, and then it turns out to be a diner or a club called the murder cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I feel
yeah.
like that's a Scooby-Doo trick, right?
Is it a Scooby Doo trick? Hey, it feels like it's I mean,
I feel like they might have done that in the new Batman movie or in an Uncharted.
Yes.
One of those.
Either
dumb,
one of them.
But I mean,
what was it? What was the name of the Spielberg restaurant? Wasn't it set in a submarine?
Oh yes, it was Dive.
Dive. Yes.
What if
yes.
we call ours Die?
Die. The V's
no, it's
just
dive.
scratched out.
It's dive, but yeah, the V, the lights
The light
out on
flashes
it.
out. That is literally the final shot.
That's
Or the
100%. It's where it's. Oh my
And
God,
it's
we open
submarine
at
themed.
Dive, and the V is always blinking, and it's in like if you're in a submarine.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
almost
everybody-
literally hanging a lantern on it, right? Or
Yep,
a
I
light
love
on
it. It is. It's literally illuminating it.
And that's a classic. Starting. We're mirroring the beginning and end, and of course, the tracking. how the
Classic.
character
Open
changes,
with Spielberg's Dive, close with Spielberg's Dive. Writing structure.
Right. We wear influences on our sleeve. Come on.
Okay, so we have about 17 minutes left. So
Wow, that seems like more than we need, but sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
no, we do have a lot. Now, I think where our story is right now, I see in our idea pile we have moved to a new city. There's something about seeing this character, maybe, especially at the start of the movie, kind of like if it's this, for some reason in my head, like horror movies, it's like move to a new city and there's this, energy and they're like excited about new possibilities. And then you just like hit them with the like, not so fast, like you're in a horror movie kind of thing.
Yeah, the most recent one, like Last Night in Soho.
Yes, totally. Because you're like, there's something exciting, but also something that makes you kind of nervous about being in this new place. I just don't know. Like, is this character sort of in tech? Like, I would assume
If
there's
they are-
don't.
I mean, they could be, you said move to a new city. They could be new and they could be like starting a new job. I don't know. I'm afraid to write in that world, right? Like, don't we want this to be set like in someone's like basement somewhere? Like, and they're just like trying NFTs. Like, I don't feel like we want to be in the like the center of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. So they're displaced from it. Right. So that, I mean, there's this other thing in NFTs too, where you can kind of like go in on an auction and you win like a blank NFT, and then it's almost like all at the same time everybody gets their one of 10,000 NFT, and there's like 4 of them that are worth like several $100,000.
Generative art
you have
projects.
to wait until it. Yeah, exactly. Like there's a bunch of rare traits, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I got the one with this and this. Oh, and then it also is neon. Oh my God, I'm going to sell it. It's worth blah, blah, blah. Or I can keep it and make $4 million and become a celebrity because I own this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my manager can tell me I own an NFT now and I have to promote it on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm down with wherever we want to go. I'm interested because that would obviously say a lot about the character of who they are. Is this someone who just like wanting to make some money off this new NFT thing, or is this someone who already collects them? And
well, can we double down on the idea of like, so I mean, body horror almost always at least has a really strong like character need versus a character want, right?
Yeah.
Like that's where the dark spiral down comes from. So what could the Chalamet character, if we're saying Chalamet's on one side, Goldberg's on another side, or Jeff Goldblum's on one side, if that's where we're going, like what is it that the Chalamet character wants, and then what is it that he actually needs, and what gets in the way of that leads you into this like,
God, you're asking all the
acquiring
right
an
questions
NFT
here.
creates a body horror moment that then escalates.
Well, I mean, what are people getting into NFTs right now? Like right at this exact moment, it feels like they're getting into it either for the cynical version is they're getting into it for the cash, like for the money
or the notoriety. There's also another angle of like, if you have one of those, it's not just the money, it's I get access and I get cachet, and it's like a Supreme drop or like a clothing drop, right? Like it's the digital ephemeral version of that.
So then that's fascinating and interesting, because I do like what if this NFT let you into something that wasn't a Discord, it was like something
like a physical location.
Yeah. Holy crap.
Like he has to literally show his NFT, and they're like, oh, you got the murder cave or whatever it is, the ancient glowing stone. And then he's like, cool, the ancient glowing stone allows him into the murder cave, which then kicks off triggers the body horror.
So is it part of a generative art project that he gets it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how is
he
that? Like,
it.
how does it, like every time it's sold, is it sold that way?
You can sell it anytime, right? So if you get on a whitelist for like this big, like 10,000 generative art drop, you have the potential of getting something that's average. You get something that's like massive value. And if you have something like, I hate these terms, but like if you have something like a Bored Ape Yacht Club PFP, right? That you have this dumb picture of a monkey smoking a blunt wearing like 3D goggles. You could walk up somewhere at an event and be like, look, I've got my Bored Ape Yacht Club. And like, cool, man, you get behind the velvet rope. You get in. You're like,
but what's the thing that makes
VIP.
this one different? Like, did this person just is this something that has existed in the physical world, and this is its first time being minted as an NFT and being snuck out through this generative? I feel like it's being snuck out through this generative art project. If it's part of I keep saying generative art project. Is there a shorter word for that?
No, I think that's fine. You can call it that.
You can be a nerd, Seth. You can be a dork.
Could it be like the creator like mysteriously died right before the thing launches? So then there's even it's like his next one that they're doing, but then he dies. So this is the last one. So there's even more hype around the idea.
Does it feel a little cliche that he died? Like could he be more like
he's mysterious, or he's
mysterious, like a Daft Punk kind of thing, or a Banksy kind of thing? Like maybe he's an elusive like artist when no one knows his identity or her identity.
Yeah. Because this artist, the originator of the NFT, who created it, possibly there was like a nefarious sort of, they knew this was going to happen when they created it kind of thing, or maybe something went wrong. I don't think it needs to be explained, why, or maybe it does. I don't know.
I mean, there's so many ways you could go with it, right? Like, is it something where like this person has always been anonymous and then they did something illegal and now they're in jail, but there's somehow mysteriously another mint or another like release of this stuff? And like, how could it be generated?
I do like it being this artist who has been mysterious up to this point, because I think what is so interesting about The Ring, like movies like this, like The Ring or It Follows, is that there is a thread to follow, and that's like part of the incredibly fascinating part, is going as far back as you can with that thread, but you're never going to get to the end of the rabbit hole. There's always going to be more, and that more is always going to be really scary to look back at. And I think if it's this mysterious kind of Banksy, or if you're diving into this person, like, and who this is, like, that's interesting in itself. And in finding like the people who actually knew who that person was and saying, well, yes, that, the public's eye, that person just has remained Banksy this whole time. But every people who knew this person know that like they changed about a year, like about 6 months ago, and they got weird and they started going into hiding. Something happened. And I like that it's this thread that would be interesting even without the body horror story. It would be interesting to dive into like, who is this mysterious artist? Like, that's interesting already, but it's even more interesting now because it's this murder mystery or this horror thread we're pulling at.
So I feel like there's two ways you could go with it, right? Like if the genre was murder mystery, not body horror, then it could very easily turn into like, okay, all of these NFTs have clues built into them that lead you to finding this person or revealing who it is, right? And then that becomes easy. But what if you're actually like near future kind of in this, and like just sidebar, the thing I've always been interested in is like every generation has a thing that half that generation accepts and goes crazy for, and the other half the generation is like, whoop, too much, right? Like you talk about Elvis Presley, half the generation was like, oh, nope, rock and roll, too much. Then you get into like the late 60s, 70s, it's drug culture. I feel like the thing I've always been interested in waiting for, like what's our generation going to be like, wait, nope, that was cool, but this is too much, is like the mixing of biology and technology. Like when you can actually say, nope, you can have Bluetooth implanted in your head. Half of our generation will be like, nope, that's too far. I don't want to be able to do that. I don't want to put like subdermal like LED screens into my body to make it look like, you know, like generative tattoos. But what if there's something like that where it's like people are winning these NFTs and it allows them to unlock this like slight biological like oh, you can make green, like neon green eyes now, or you can have some kind of like digital augmentation of your body, and people are like super excited where it's not just this virtual digital like proof that you're cool, but you can actually go somewhere when you get this and unlock this.
The only thing I was just going to say, the only thing about that to me, I really like it. The only thing is I feel like if people are able to do that already, it might make the body horror element of our main character less special.
Yes. So
and
what if
less odd? If people are like, oh, I knew that would happen because that you guys are putting this stuff in your body.
What's fascinating is the idea of the ambition of it. Like, so if it's something that is not commonplace, what if this thing, because this is what I'm doing when I take everything you just said and I chew it up, I spit it back out in a whirly form and it's gross and weird, is what if it started as some physical painting, right? And that's been around for a very long time. Whoever owned the painting, it slowly over time traded with you, like took you into it. Yeah, right. And then spit out like and transformed you into this kind of pawn or servant thing that always looks the same. It's not switching with the thing that was in the painting. It's actually adding you to the thing in the painting and then trading out with this like pawn of a creature that then his job is to distribute or resell the painting and move it to the next place. And we don't know that. We're figuring that out so that character, that thing.
So this isn't NFT. This isn't pixel art in this story you're telling.
It looks like,
but it could be a transition though, right? Like it could be an old school painting, and that old school painting's awareness is like, man, I can't scale this, right? This isn't good business. What if I actually like it's a sentient evil painting and it's been doing this Dorian Gray trick forever, but all of a sudden it's like, no, what if I could actually get out there and put this painting out as an NFT? Now everybody who now owns it, now I could do that on 10,000 scale, and then they could go. Then it turns into like the virus, or it turns into the like self-replicating.
And that thing that it spits, that it turns you into, that it like trades you for, is a nice like red herring that you can have like pictures of it or witness accounts of it. This thing that we don't know how this fits into the story, but there's apparently some Igor like creature thing that like is a part of it, and it turns out it's turning you into that and taking you into the painting. Again, everything I just said would not be in the logline for the movie. The logline would be about this like cursed NFT, whatever the good version of this. It's like The Ring, but with NFTs. And then by the end of the movie, everything I just said is the explanation for what it's actually doing.
So we have a mechanism.
Just slowly trade body parts or whatever over time, as almost like this painting is slowly like Back to the Future style, like you're being slowly added to it.
Is there? I feel like there has to be something that you have to accomplish in those. Like, say you have 14 days, and there's something in those 14 days that you have to accomplish, or you end up in the thing.
Yeah, because we have, just let you guys know, about 5 minutes left, and we still don't have
our
the story.
protagonist is still a passive protagonist, essentially.
Yeah. We have a mechanism basically
Yes.
to enable body horror. Okay, so going back, need want. So what is it? This is a Timothy Chalamet, some kid who wants to be cool, and he lucks into finding this painting, and he hangs it up in his new apartment, and his friends are like, that thing sucks, that's not cool, why is that old? And he's like, no, it's different, nobody else has something like this. And as he starts watching and getting closer, he notices things in the painting becoming more him, and things from the painting start going into the real world. Like he starts having that, right? Like whatever those like features are. Or is that leaning too far into the Dorian Gray thing?
It's the NFT, right? That's what I was thinking of. So like it was a painting, and then this guy eventually NFT'd it, like you said, like minted it, and now it's existed on the blockchain. And it
basically, when you buy the token, you get the painting with it.
Yeah,
right?
maybe that's his way of trying to get rid of the curse, right? He feels like he's slowly changing. You have all the body horror moments. He's like, I'm gonna burn this or whatever, but it still doesn't go away. So he still had a picture of the painting, and he mints that to be like, okay, well maybe it isn't that I have to get rid of the picture. Maybe it is I have to hand curse off to the next person. And then the easiest way for him to do it is to do it through an NFT, because nobody's going to buy this shitty painting. Like he tries to cut it up, he tries to do different things to it. It's like, no, physically harming it won't do it.
That's smart.
He has to like
then there can be
transfer it.
That's great, because there can be a building fire as part of like this backstory and history that like turns out it was so we could burn the painting, but it burned the whole building down. But that's like a nice thing to work backwards through of like an element to be in that backstory.
I feel like we got so into the NFT side of things and trying to uncover and explain it and figure out the mechanism that do we have a character arc? Is the NFT thing really just like the hook for the sequel? That's
no. I really like the NFT idea. I think that's what.
And I like it starting as a painting and then making a.
But we don't.
Sort of.
It doesn't start as a painting in narrative order in the film. That's the backstory, right? Is that it's an NFT thing. And the movie opens, this kid gets this NFT and he gets this exclusive one, whatever. And then his body starts warping and weird stuff. And it turns out it needs to be like one item of his, something of his that like a tattoo he had on his finger, and that finger is now in the painting or something. Like
his Apple Watch goes from being on his wrist to being in the painting, and then the old like watch is on his hand. Like he wakes up one day and he's like, well, how the fuck did that get there?
Okay, that's fun.
Because it has to be something that
start
stands out
very
enough.
innocently before his body's actually changed.
Yeah, like he almost thinks his friends are like just punking him, right? Like he has a YouTube channel and he's like, wait, what? Who did this? Who took the painting and did this? Like, where'd you get this old corrupt, like this old watch? Like, okay, enough. This isn't funny anymore.
And then one leg, the next morning, one leg is like rail thin and like deteriorating and shorter than the other one. Like, how in the world did this happen overnight? That kind of a thing.
Wakes up, freaks out.
And so
this is Timothy Chalamet as Logan Paul.
No.
God, we can't make him that unlikable. We got to sort of root for him a little bit.
Well, this is becoming an anti-Logan Paul episode.
What I feel like a lot of body horror movies, they end and it's like not a happy ending.
Yeah, it's a devolution.
It would be really interesting to start at the dive submarine themed, diner or whatever, and it's Timothy Chalamet with the friend or something, and then at the end it's the person he turns into at the diner, and it's like mirrored the shots or whatever, and the creepy.
I like that. That's very Nightmare Alley.
Yes. Oh yeah. Totally.
I love that movie. I love that movie. But the only thing I wish they would have done, and probably was too cheesy, is that, is it okay to spoil anything about Nightmare Alley? I probably shouldn't say it.
Spoiler alert. Nightmare Alley.
Spoiler. The only thing I wish they would have done in Nightmare Alley is that when you saw the geek in the carnival the first time, you never really saw his face, but it actually was played by Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Because at the end, when it goes full circle, like, you told me the whole time. And the whole point then wouldn't have been about the surprise. We've already been there.
So the characters want is exclusivity is like it's to be in a cool club, like it'd be part of things.
He's doing everything he can. He's got a YouTube channel. He's trying to be an influencer. He's trying to be a social media star, but he just can't break through. And he's
not very good at it. I think we make it pretty sad and pathetic. Yeah, like, all right, thanks guys. Blah blah blah.
You just kind of feel bad for him because he's like trying to do this thing and it's not quite working.
Yeah, he's like subscribe that like button and hit that. Wait, oh no.
And maybe when he gets this NFT or whatever, it could be like almost like a fake success, like a fake victory, and then that's when it starts, And just to confirm, he buys the token, he gets the art, but it comes with the physical art.
No, it doesn't come with the physical. Physical art was burnt. Like the physical art was burned to the ground. Like it started that way.
Okay, sorry, I thought we talked about it burning it down to try to stop this, and then
I saw that as a backstory. To me, the painting is part of. You start pulling the thread of like where my body is. This thing is taking my body, so I want to find out what the hell's going on. You find out who the previous owners were, and then you start pulling at that thread. And when you start pulling at that thread, you find the story of someone before who started having a lot of similar symptoms, and then they burned their house to the ground. Maybe even died. Maybe that's even a slight twist. Is like, okay, look, he's actually dead. We sold this thing as an NFT. It was his last project, like he was going to do, and then he burned himself to the ground in a fire, and so we released this stuff. And then we pull at it and learn that he burnt a painting in there. He had just gotten this painting. Then we pull the thread of where did this painting come from and what was this painting? Turns out it was part of satanic rituals and blah 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 blah.
And an ancient stone that glows somehow.
Yes.
And, okay, I was going to say too, we are currently
time to pitch your movie.
Out of time.
Summers, it's all you. You got this? Just kidding.
What's that?
I'm kidding.
Oh God.
Yeah, Summers,
sure.
so you got this.
Here we go.
But I was just going to say, let's not forget, just to make sure we get that assignment points, just to hit on the diner there at the beginning.
So we didn't get Declaration of Independence.
That's okay. I think the submarine.
No. Hey, we could just work that in somehow into some loser tried to mint the Declaration of Independence. Like
maybe in the painting, the old guy's holding the Declaration of Independence, and his iPad the dude's iPad swaps stops with the picture instead of the Apple. Oh yeah, that's it. Instead of the Apple Watch, that Timothée Chalamet's got an iPad, and the first thing he sees is in that old painting, the dude has a Declaration of Independence. He's now holding the Declaration of Independence, and the guy's holding the iPad.
So he has the actual Declaration of Independence,
or a replica. But
all right, I'm in. I'm a fan.
I don't know. They might be pushing it too far.
Yeah,
but I think we can give it a good pitch. But
do we come up with the name? Do we come up with the name?
Should it be like NFT, blockchain, something NFT related? I don't know NFT terms. Today on Writers Room Game Show, we have a very special guest, one of my best buds. He also works in tech, which is very related to what we are pitching today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Blake Sager to the show.
Yeah.
Hey.
Pretend there's applause sound effects.
You did it, Blake.
So I'm going to get right into it. Blake, our assignment today from the big Hollywood studio, we were assigned to develop a body horror movie. The tone was nonstop. The demographic is fans of pixel art, which I know you fall under because you gave us a few demographics to add to the generator.
Yep.
And then our studio mandate was one word, Chalamet. And you can imagine how that showed up in our movie. And we are also given a wild card mandate that Hollywood apparently loves diner scenes right now. So they really want us to start and end our movie in a diner. And we were also given 5 ideas for our idea pile. I'll pitch that to you at the end, and we'll see how much of that showed up in our pitch for our movie. So Seth is currently messaging possible titles for our movie, and it says Tales from the Crypto. So I kind of love that.
You only knew how triggering that is. I guess we'll get into it.
Oh boy, this is going to be good.
This is going to be really good.
It might be our target audience then. I'm getting excited.
So Seth or Ryan Summers, one of you guys like to start our pitch? Maybe pitch
Ryan
a
would
little
love
to. Sure, Seth. How about you do that, Seth?
Ryan was just saying he's so excited. Hey, you know what? It's not proper of me to throw our guest immediately under the bus. So I'm going to let that bus slowly take you, Ryan.
Yeah, just give him a little pitch for the premise.
So here's...
go ahead. Yeah, go, Seth.
No.
Well, how about we name drop some of our influences to just start off to get you in the headspace, right? We talked about a lot of different references and touch points. Is it? Okay. Well, it's kind of like X plus Y with a little bit of Z. Is that fair? Can we do it that way?
Go for
it.
Okay. Well, we talked a little bit about body horror, The Fly, obviously being like the cornerstone, the whole idea of like seeing someone who's captivating and interesting just devolve into complete like abject horror, right? And it starts off with a little bit of wonder, and then you very quickly get disgusted as they get disgusted. I think we also name dropped like Falling Down, like that whole sense of just like despair. What other ones do we? The Ring, yes. And then I think even like Idle Hands, which is a weird reference to kind of throw into.
And The Eye.
And The Eye, yeah.
Jessica Alba and The Eye.
So a lot of happy movies. But I think we're trying to dance around what I think is a touchy subject, but maybe it plays both ways. Like, what do you think about the world of NFTs? Because this movie is set directly in it, and it may play to your hatred or also your aspirations.
Yeah, so I hate them. Perfect. I think that they're a pox on the art community in general.
Maybe even a curse?
Definitely a curse. I think the curse works well. Yeah.
Would a title like Crypto Curse actually make you interested to see someone who's
straight to video now,
obsessed,
guys? We're a VOD.
Obsessed. There's a lot of benefits if you go straight to streaming these days. If you could go on the journey of someone who's super into the world of NFTs and see them completely have their lives crushed by being obsessed with it, would that be a ride you'd be excited joining?
Yeah, I think so. I also am worried that I'm going to build sympathy at the wrong point and feel bad for this person, but also at the same time enjoy them, completely wrecking their lives. But
great jumping off point. So we meet our character sitting in a diner, and it's actually the last. People think they're all gone, but there's one last dive location, which was, in fact, it's not even really still open. It's just still branded as Dive, which was Steven Spielberg's backed underwater themed diner that has submarine themed, et cetera, et cetera. So this Dive, however, the letter V on the sign is flickering. So it just says die, an exclamation point. And we meet
subtle
Timothée Chalamet, who is playing a character whose name we don't have.
We'll just call him Timothy.
So we'll just call him Timothée Chalamet. And so Timothée Chalamet is sitting on his laptop in this Dive. It's, this diner formerly known as Dive, this die, if you will. And he's got headphones on. It's raining outside, really moody. Think the Batman, because I just saw it yesterday and everything is the Batman right now. And he's editing. He's doing probably the most depressing thing you could think of someone to do. He is editing his own YouTube video in which he is saying like and subscribe, and he's adding an end screen at the end. And he posts it to his YouTube channel, which clearly has 14 subscribers. No, what's something that would give him some hope? It's got maybe 27 subscribers or
99. He's hoping to go to 100.
99.
But it goes. But as soon as he releases the video, it goes down to 98 and then 90. He can't get to triple digits.
That's great. And then he switches over to Summers. Quick, throw me.
He's on OpenSea. He's on OpenSea.
He's on OpenSea. Thank you, sir. And so he's on OpenSea, and he's this generative art project's about to go up that he's all about and wants. No. We need to show his despair. He's bidding on something, this exclusive thing, and doesn't get it. Summers, you really should be handling this part.
So he's obsessing about trying to win this PFP project because it's going to get him access to everything. He wants to win this like generative thing where 1 out of 10,000 of them is like the rarest thing in the world, and it'll promote him to superstardom. It'll give him YouTube followers. People want to know what he's done. He's going to get on Jimmy Fallon right next to Paris Hilton, and he's trying to get it. Seth, does he get it?
He does not get it, and he's bummed. He's really, really bummed. But it's just normal. He doesn't get these things ever. And the only thing he has like some just run-of-the-mill ones that everybody has, and he has a profile picture that looks like everybody else's profile picture. It's exactly the same.
Stupid ape, just like everybody else.
Just stupid ape. And he goes home. We see his apartment. His apartment is sparse. He's got very little. He's got, some video gear and lighting gear and a green screen setup. And we feel sad for this guy, right? And
he's just playing Call of Duty Warzone and streaming to 2 people on Twitch.
Exactly. And so the idea is we want to get into this place to where he ends up, I just realized he really didn't get into the nitty gritty of like what this guy's world looks like, but Polly, why don't you take it?
Yes. He eventually goes back to OpenSea and he's looking, he's sort of browsing, so I'm so sorry. And he's just browsing. He's late at night, just sort of, imagine like a dark room and it's just the light from his phone. And he sees one NFT that really catches his eye and it's like super discounted.
He's like I want that NFT is what he says.
It's the only one he can afford.
It's the only one he can afford. And it's like this cool like pixel art of this portrait with a few people in it. It's like, wow, that looks super cool.
And we somehow convey it's from the equivalent of like Banksy. It's like if Banksy were to put this thing, like this mysterious, elusive, no one knows who he is.
He just got in on it. He saw it before anybody else. He like goes as fast as he can. He's like, I gotta get it. I can have just enough to get it. He gets it. And it's in his account. He can't believe it.
Yes. So excited. Yes.
Sorry.
That's what he sounds like.
Can Polly? I almost want Polly to play the Chalamet character.
Yes, it's so good.
Ryan Polly as Timothy Chalamet as this character. Oh, man. Basically, from then on, we find out through a series of events that the next day he wakes up.
Series of unfortunate events.
Yes, Lemony Snicket's. And
doesn't he wake up and then he actually finds something at his door that there's actually something based on that pixel art?
No, he wakes up. So there's, sorry, Blake. Okay, Rene, cut this part out.
No, Rene, keep all of it.
Okay, we're back to it. Here we go. So yes,
we were always in it. Rene didn't cut anything.
It's Seth. So this picture in the NFT, there's a portrait, and within the portrait, there's this guy with like a very classic watch on. It's like a very nice sort of metal, silver watch. And our character has a Apple Watch that we noticed throughout the film. He interacts with it, but he wakes up one morning and he looks down at his wrist, and it's like this really nice, like I don't know, watch brands. The nice silver watch that he noticed in the NFT, and he looks at the NFT, and his Apple Watch is now in the NFT, and he's like, that's kind of odd. How the hell did this happen? He's kind of weirded out, but it's one of those weird things where it's like he tries to tell people about it on YouTube and it's like nobody believes him, whatever. But through the course of what sequence would you say we're in right now? Sort of second act of our movie. We don't have it all sort of.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. We're in the first half of Act 2, so we're in sequence C right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but we throughout sort of the promise of the premise would be throughout the fun and game section of this is basically we find out that this NFT is actually I'm sorry, I'm looking at, you can't message while I talk because it's going to distract me. Ryan Summers talking about this is going to be the lowest rated episode of all time, and I doubt that.
I doubt that.
Sincerely.
Ryan, you didn't live through Salt and Pepper.
Started so strong. We started so strong.
Ryan, you didn't live through the one that we abandoned 2 weeks ago, and is going.
I mean, Blake, we started with this being called Shall I May, Shall I Might. We started so strong.
It's still in the picture. I mean, it's still on the table. It could still. But here's the point. This is a body horror film in which a NFT with the person in the NFT is slowly becoming the person that bought the NFT, and the person that bought the NFT is slowly becoming something else. And we don't understand.
Think Dorian Gray meets The Fly via NFTs.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up because I think this will be the first attempt at Dorian Gray since the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah. So the bar is really easy to clear, I think.
If we don't clear League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, I think we might be done with the podcast for a while. And that's the
we love the idea of basically this piece of art, and not only is it because it's an NFT, of course there's a record of who has bought this NFT, and there's 20% going back to the originator, but we're kind of taking that and saying, what if each person that bought this NFT prior have been like absorbed into the NFT and slowly replaced?
And what if going back even further, before it was minted as an NFT, it was originally a painting, and that painting has like all this old creepy history to it too, of whenever it would do the same thing to whoever bought it and whoever owned it. It's like the ring of NFTs.
Yeah, and imagine slowly over the course of 14 days, like each one of his body parts are sort of being replaced by this like a creepy old man's like body parts. So it's like he wakes up and he's got like this super thin, sort of emaciated leg, and that's shorter than his leg, and like so it's kind of a race against time for him to figure out what's happening, why it's happening.
Non-stop.
He's researching.
Yeah.
Did you ever see It Follows, Blake?
Mm-hmm. No, but I did the thing I do with all scary movies, and I read the Wikipedia article about it. So I'm familiar with it.
Great article, that one. Really great.
So it's this thing where it's like, even if because it's a slow burn, but it's like the tension is like it keeps coming, and he's got to figure out in these 14 days, sort of like researching the origins of this piece of art. We found out the person who owned the original painting tried to burn it to stop it. He ended up burning his whole house down, and they said that he died, but really so there's a whole history behind it. And so by the end of the movie, he's trying to figure this out, and unfortunately he would eventually meet his demise and be absorbed into the NFT and replaced with someone else.
Mm-hmm. And the race against time, Polly, is that he's got to try to sell it to someone else, because that's why it was so cheap for him to get it. He's like, why is this Banksy level thing like essentially free? I gotta take it. And he takes it, and then over 14 days everything devolves, and at some point he tries to like literally pawn it off to someone for free. He tries to trade it. He tries to literally burn it, which I think slow burn actually might make a really good name for this.
Slow burn!
Instead of crypto curse.
We did it.
Right? But he tries it like
because burn is like with NFTs when you sell it.
Yeah, you can burn an NFT, but maybe when he tries to burn it, it actually creates two, or it sends it to two of his friends. So now he has it and two of his friends have it.
Slow burn.
So then he's like, I can't burn it, right? I can't burn it. So he's got to try to find a way to legitimately, honestly sell it to the next person. So he's in a race against time. So you almost have the forward clock of like, I got to get this done in 14 days, but you have the other clock of like, where did this come from? So maybe he has a friend, his one other friend is trying to research, like, where did this thing come from? And the pixel art was actually based on this old painting. This old painting was this guy. And there's all the back and forth of him trying to create his influence on his like YouTube channel or whatever to get enough notoriety to get some schmuck to take it. So you have those two pressures coming at the same time.
Yep. And then it ends, of course, with him back at the diner. And we have this creepy mirror shot where it's the same shot at the opening of the movie, but now he's a completely different person. And it's like almost like a, weird sort of stoic sort of character.
It's just a slow push in on his laptop, and you see the actual NFT is just a pixel art of him. He's fully in the NFT.
And that's when it cuts to Slow Burn.
The title that we had.
That I think
going into this.
And then there's a few bits throughout the film too with NFTs. We sort of get a good glimpse of different dumb sort of NFTs, like an ancient stone that glows, and there's a bit about someone trying to mint the Declaration of Independence, and like all this sort of, we wanted to appeal to people that don't like the culture of NFTs, us three. It's sort of like me and Ryan on both sides, and Seth sort of in the middle in terms of our NFT love. So we wanted to appeal to everybody, whether you're a big fan or you're not.
So you're saying it's a 4-quadrant picture that people who aspire to be an NFT superstar and also people who want to see the downfall of it can both appreciate the journey.
Yes.
With full IP potential to go backwards and forwards.
Yes, the 4 quadrants are men who love NFTs, women who love NFTs, men who hate NFTs, and women who hate NFTs.
Women who love the men who hate NFTs.
Yes. It's actually 3-dimensional quadrants. There's also
women that put up with men who love NFTs.
Women that love women who hate NFTs. It really, the possibilities are endless, and we're going to appeal to all of them.
That's our picture.
I can't believe we went to NFTs.
Before we ask you our questions.
Before you throw your money at us, we do have a few questions for you.
Any comments or questions for us?
Yeah, so I think I got a few. So when the transformation is complete, the minting is finished, if you will. What is the original character's consciousness just like gone? Is it altered? Is he stuck in some immutable state on the blockchain? What is he fearing besides just this physical transformation?
Here's what I'll tell you. Then I'm very passionate about this. He fears disappearing into nothingness, like being non-existent, like his life being futile, being non-existent, which obviously very overtly is mirrored in his quest before he gets the NFT and trying to be internet famous, trying to have followers and a vlog and everything. He is afraid of just blending into the nothingness and into the noise. And
so it's a full journey. He starts off metaphorically nothing, gets a taste of being something, and then literally becomes nothing.
Which is hysterical, because then that's just a through line to the vacuous nature of NFTs
and the entire culture.
Exactly.
There it is. Yeah. I think you just got a co-writing line.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I also would love to see a bunch of in-jokes, not necessarily for people who are in the culture of NFTs, but very famously, there was a really bad hack of Ethereum, and the only way they could get around it was that everybody, they did a hard fork. So enough people that had ownership on the blockchain were essentially okay, we're going to reset from this point and pretend all of this stuff that happened after this point is fake. I think it would be really funny to see stuff like that. Maybe he gets rid of it. He does kind of get rid of it, and we're going into this fake denouement, and then that hard fork happens, and it's back in his ownership.
Classic Monsters University third act twist.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that was it. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, love it. Okay, well, and on that note, we will get to our focus group questions. First of which is, please rate these 1 to 10. How likely are you to see this movie? 1 to 10.
I'm gonna say 7. I'm gonna say a good 7.
Hey, was that out loud? Sorry.
Seth, do you mind writing these down as I
7? Yeah.
Okay. Second question is, how likely are you to recommend this movie?
Oh, very low. I'm gonna say a 2. I would see this in the dark of night with nobody knows. I would just be
2.
When you
What's it? Oh yes. And how well did we adhere to our assignment? And I'll repeat our assignment. It is a body horror movie, non-stop was the tone. Fans of
it never
pixel
stops
art.
Playing. It's just always, it keeps going until it's over.
It's on loop. The mandate was Chalamet, and the wild card is we start and end with diner scenes.
Yeah, I think they were all hit. The first one is hard because it's body horror so visceral, and it's inherently visual, and it's hard to communicate.
Did we not mention that every night he is screaming and in pain because his body is literally transforming?
No.
Forgot to mention
only
that
his inner
part.
organs. His inner organs turn to pixels.
Yes.
First.
So is it it's on a time, it happens at a set time?
No, not really. It just is gradually happening. And so some days, some points he'll have just searing pain, and his arm will just start bleeding and oozing for no reason. And
with that, I think you'll hit it, because again, you brought up the fly, the arm wrestling scene is I
love the idea of seeing Tetris box cubes just starting to protrude under his skin. Anything that's organic starts going angular and popping, and that'd be cool.
So what number would you give that then? 1 to 10 adherence to the assignment?
Do a 7 again. Yeah,
7. Wonderful.
Okay, and then our last question: rate the overall idea.
10. I'm so extreme. Hopefully, this is not skewing your metrics.
You got a 10 and a 2. That's good. We averaged out.
Yes, and then we also have. Let me tell you what was in our idea pile. So these are 5 ideas that Seth and I have in a library that we generate every episode. If we use an idea, we get 2 points. So we had the Declaration of Independence, which we had a little bit in there about minting the Declaration of Independence. An ancient stone that glows somehow. I'm going to say we didn't hit that. We didn't have a strong pitch for that.
Let him decide.
What's that?
Let him decide if we did or not.
Okay. Submarine,
did we?
Which would be...
Did we hit the ancient stone that glows somehow?
Did y'all just mint it? Is that all? Is it just an NFT?
Yeah, it's an NFT. Yeah.
No, I guess technically,
we did it. I told you, Paulie.
Okay, we got it. A submarine, which we put in the dive submarine themed diner. A cave everyone calls the murder cave. Didn't get that one. And then a move to a new city, which we didn't even get close to that. So I'd say, what, is that 6 points?
6 points plus 36 from our focus group means we got a 42,
Which means?
Which means the studio should be calling us any second.
Wait, what? What did we have to hit?
That must be them. I'll once again put them on speakerphone. Give me 1 second.
Get in,
Studio?
loser. We're buying your movie.
Boom!
Yes! Slow burn.
Slow burn. The studio's buying
Thank you
it.
so much, studio. I don't know what to say.
Welcome to the first day of your life having value.
Thank you, studio. Weirdly
Thank you
We're
patronizing.
going to turn this into a 5-picture franchise. We promise. We can see it.
Yes, there's
As
so
long
much
as people
money
care
here.
about NFTs for the next 3 years.
Maybe, perhaps.
Perhaps. Well, thank you so much. We're so excited. We can't wait to hopefully give you guys some more sold movies here in the next
Talk
next
to
few
you
episodes.
later. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. One more thing. Just make sure it's better than Gremlins, an empirically bad movie.
Damn it, studio.
Oh, man.
It
Have
is
you
an
and Seth been
assessment
talking
that
behind my back?
everyone shares. It is an assessment that everyone shares. It is an assessment that everyone
Stop
shares.
it, studio. We get it. Okay? Thank you for buying our movie. I'll see you later. Okay.
Bye.
Something else.
That was a successful
You
episode.
guys have been
in my
talking behind
opinion.
my back, haven't you, Seth?
No!
The Writers Room Game Show with me, Ryan Polly, and Seth Worley. Executive produced by Grant Wakefield at Weekend Video and Ann Fogerty at Plot Devices. Edited to perfection by Rene Gomez. Our art is by your buddy, Meg Lewis, and our face-melting music is by Ben Worley. The Writers Room Game Show is a Weekend Video production in association with Plot Devices. Learn more about Weekend Video at weekend.video and check out writersroomgame.show to listen to all of our episodes and suggest your own prompts for future shows. And don't forget to rate and review our show on Apple Podcasts. It really helps our show out a lot. See you in the next one.